computer. Okay, so it says, let's start off. So first of all, good evening, everyone. I'm going over a problem somebody had an issue with on a pretest in Schoology. Again, one of the areas that the GED, they want to compare two sources. So they might give you a table, they might give you a chart, they might give you an equation, they might give you it's just they can give it to you anyway. They may give you an attention getter. It doesn't, but what you have to do is you have to look at it, understand what's given to you, and then compare it. So in a question like this, it says Davis is comparing the gas mileage for his old car and the gas mileage for his new car. His old car uses 19 gallons of gas to travel 323 miles. The graph shown below represents the gas mileage of his new car. So most people, this is why I put this problem on here, because I want to give you a headache. I want to have a difficult problem that gives you issues. So when you get to it on a real exam, you don't even get frustrated. You say, oh, I remember I had a problem like this. It's not that bad. And that's what I want you to do. So here, first of all, you might not know where to start. But again, this is what you do. Identify what you know. So first of all, 19 gallons of gas to travel 323 miles. So we are familiar with miles per gallon, right? So again, this is something we know. They gave it to us, miles per gallon, MPG, but that per means division. So that means miles divided by the number of gallons. So we got the miles, which is 323. We got the number of gallons, which is 19. And so if somebody could throw that in that calculator and for me to tell me what that is, I would greatly appreciate it.
It's 17.
17. So the miles per gallon, the old car, is 17. Understand that?
Yes.
Now, when you look at this graph, well, you say, see, what I did was I grabbed this graph from somewhere. Usually, again, you got to any graph they give you, any table they give you, the first thing you're looking at is the title. Okay, this is going to tell me about the new car gas mile. The next thing you're going to look at is the, let me move this down a little bit. I got to move this up. I apologize. That's what happens with technology. I should have moved it all the way first. Let me move this up here. Let me move this down here. I had this in here. This in here. I'm sorry. But I want you to be able to see everything. So when you look at this graph, you then the next thing. So first of all, always look at the title first. Then you look at the axes. This is my x-axis, my horizontal axis. It's giving me the distance in miles. Then I look at my y-axis, which is the gas used in gallons. You can't see 1. You can't see 19. So like if you had 19, if you had a 19 on here that you could see, you could easily compare it. But you don't. This is why you find the unit rate. This is why you find the miles per each gallon. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at these points, right? But we want a point that's going to correspond to whole numbers on both the X and Y axis. So as I go up, I'm looking at this right here. That corresponds to whole numbers. Let's keep looking up. This one right here. That corresponds to whole numbers, right? So again, you can use multiple points because what is a linear equation? A constant rate of change. So that means no matter where you are in that line, it's going to give you that same ratio. So let's compare it to make sure. So 2 gallons for 75 miles. Well, Mr. Tinsley, where did you get 75 from? If you notice, every tick mark, every second tick mark is 50. So the one in between must be what?
It must right here fit 25. No.
25. So 25, that means this point, 75 miles per gallon. So we want the miles first. So 75 divided by, remember, that's my X, 25. That's my Y. So 75 divided by 2, and that's 37.5 miles per gallon. Okay, let's check another one. Well, Mr. Tiz, I remember you said you wanted whole numbers on these. So maybe you didn't understand that tick mark was 25. Well, we could use this point. 150 miles over 4. Again, being able to understand what a point means on a line is very important. Because you understand that X and Y axis, 4 gallons is going to take me 150 miles. But again, but here we want it the same way. Miles per gallon. So we want our miles up top. 50 divided by 4, and we still get the same 37.5 miles per gallon. So this is the old car. This is the new car. So the new car gets much better gas mileage. Well, how much does it get? That's what it's asking. What is the difference? So what does the word difference mean?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. So 37.5 minus 17.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is a difficult question, but I want you to go through questions like this. I want you to understand the tightness and the frustration of a question like this. The whole purpose of why I put problems like this is so when you get to your exam and you get a GED problem, it won't frustrate you at all. You'll be, oh, what did they give me? Okay. What do I know? Okay. Oh, and that way you walk step through step for each problem. Got me?
Got you. Thank you, Mr. Tinsley.
Now you looking at that problem now, he's like, that wasn't even that hard, was it?
Yeah, pretty
right?
much.
Am I right or wrong? But
right.
The important part is reading this graph, understanding that I can't use this point because that's 25 miles. But what's that? I don't know how many gallons that is. I'm not going to use that point. So you go up this graph until you want whole numbers for the X and Y axis. And this is the problem that most people have. All right.
Okay.
And you said there was another problem, right?
Yes, it was from like what is the points from J and K. It kind of confused me a little bit.
Okay. I don't remember that problem.
I recognize it.
So remember when you take these quizzes, they're in random order. So each time you take it, it's a different order. So it's not the same each time. I do that on purpose also because I don't. This easy money right here. This easy money. First, you be laughing all the way to the bank on this problem. Somebody gave you problem. But the reason why I gave you problems is because it's not whole numbers.
Okay.
So watch this. Let's walk through this problem together and let's see if we can figure this out. What is the slope of the line passing through points J and K? Show or explain your work, right? Well, I'm gonna take that out. That's how you know I copied and pasted from somewhere else. But anyway, because you can't show or explain your work on a computer screen. So I'm gonna take that out anyway. But what do we know? Find a slope from 2 points. How do you find a slope from 2 points?
Y2 minus 1.
Who said that?
Me.
Say it with confidence. Y2 minus
2
Y1
minus Y1
over X2 minus X1.
minus X1.
You got to know these formulas. That way, again, it doesn't matter if they give you the points in fractions. It doesn't matter if they give it in decimals. It doesn't matter if you give it in whole numbers. If you know you got 2 points and you got to find the slope, that's the formula you're going to use.
All right.
Now, what's Y2? Tell me what Y2 is.
Y2.
Y2, is that going to be
5.
5.
Okay.
Okay, so now, what I'm a little concerned about, because you took you a little long to answer that. Remember, each point is X comma Y. So this is going to be, so it doesn't matter what point you call the first point. It doesn't matter what you call the second point. But whatever you call the first point, this is X1, this is Y1. This is X2, this is Y2. Minus 3.5, correct? What's X2?
X2 is at
X2 is 3.
Yes.
X2 is 3. Minus
6.
6. Okay. What's our next step?
Subtract.
Is that correct?
You got a -5, minus
that is not correct.
It's not correct.
That is not correct. If you label 5 as
X2.
Y, so look what we did here. We said 5 minus 3.5. So this is Y2 minus Y1. That is not Y2. What's Y2?
Oh,
Y2 is 5.
Nope.
yeah, I can't even see it.
Okay, hold on. Let me clear it all out. I'm gonna make it nice and big so we can
Sorry.
see it clearly.
That's because it's on my phone. Okay, come on, let's go.
Let me see if I can make it nice and big so it's coming right into your house.
I know that. Oh my
Live
God.
and direct. Oops, what just happened there?
The error.
So you can see the points now,
Okay.
correct?
Okay.
Let me put the formula back up.
Let me
M
put my
equal y2 minus y1 over x2 minus
okay.
x1.
Mhm.
Okay, if we're going to use this as our first point, so we'll call this our first point. So we're going to call this x1 and it's y1. We're going to call this x2, calling it y2. Hold on, Mr. Tiz. I thought you previously just now you called the other point x1 and y1. It doesn't matter.
Right. So you got 5.
As long as you identify your first point, identify your second point, and you plug those correct values into your formula. What is y2 now?
Y2 is 5.
5 minus, what's y1?
Y1
is
3.5. What's
3.5.
x2?
Yes.
X2 is
6.
6 minus, what's x1?
3.
3.
What's now? Now, to me, I would just plug this right into my calculator, but it's up to you what you want to do. I can do it
I did.
mentally. 5 minus 3.5 is 1.5.
2.5. Yes.
6 minus 3 is 3.
Yes.
You should recognize right away 1.5 is half of 3.
Yeah.
But if you didn't, plug it into your calculator. Don't sit there and make a mistake. Go to your calculator. Let me put it right on the screen. Listen, this is what I'm trying to tell you. And this is one thing I'm worried about for a lot of people. Everybody is trying to do all this math themselves without using the calculator. I'm telling you, people spending too much time. I'm looking at quizzes and I'm looking at quizzes taking 40 minutes, 30 minutes, or not finishing because they're taking too long. ND 1.5 divided by 3.
Yep.
My slope is what? Well, guess what? That's a decimal. Change it to a
It's
fraction.
0.5.
You gotta know how to flip and use this calculator to your advantage. If you don't, I'm not saying you can't pass it, but it's gonna take you much longer. 1/2. So now, after all that, guess what? Watch this. Watch this. That's too long, Mr. Tinsley. I know it's too long because I've been using your ebook. See, that's the problem. People sitting here and they trying to do all these problems without going through the ebook first. You don't have to waste time on this problem. Why? Because if I know the formula, watch how easy this is. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Watch what I do. ND 5 minus 3.5 over 6 minus 3. Enter 0.5 1/2. I'm done. You don't even have to waste your time so you can make a mistake. If you know the formula, this is what I keep trying to tell people. You have to be familiar with how to use this calculator. You got to be familiar with your formula sheet. Otherwise, you can spend months on trying to figure out the slope. Why? You're never going to use slope again in your life. Learn how to use the calculator to do it for you. I can ask you right now. I've been teaching math for a long time, right? In college, you do slope of different things. But for most people that's going for their GED, have you ever used slope one time in your life?
No.
So stop wasting 3 and 4 weeks trying to do it by hand. I'm giving you the way to do it in the calculator. I'm telling you, you're wasting too much time. I'm not going to spend 3 or 4 minutes. Look how fast I did. I did it in 15 seconds. I identified I needed 2 points. Now, my suggestion is learn how to do it by hand first.
Yeah.
Then go use the calculator. So you have a conceptual understanding when and how to use the calculator. But then this problem takes you 15 seconds instead of 2 and 3 minutes. And that's what I'm trying to make clear to people. Listen, I'm not going to sit here all day trying to learn this. But I can tell you this. I can tell you this. I got couple questions for you. Has anybody here ever used quadratic equations in their real life?
No,
Anybody ever used slope in their real life?
no,
Have
No.
anybody found a valid function in real life? Okay, so listen. So, but why are you spending months trying to figure it out? I need you to have a basic understanding of the concepts. I'm telling you, then use the calculator. I'm telling you, if you want to get done and have this pass, now, if your mindset is going to college, post-secondary next, then you need to have a good, firm understanding of how to do it before you do it with the calculator. But the calculator is giving you so you can do it accurately and you can do it quickly. The whole purpose of using the calculator is so you can finish the hardest problems on this exam in less than a minute. All right, what's the next? Anything else people having problems with?
yes. When I was on Schoology, I used, I think, the math lessons. I think you put some new, the graphs with the word problems on it.
Yeah, I put a lot of new stuff last week.
Yeah, that's what I emailed you about. I didn't, yeah, it was in the math lesson.
It was in the math lessons, and I had it up there. You sure?
Yeah,
Where did I put it?
I believe so.
I think no, I don't think it was under math lessons. What was
You
the
sure?
title? Was it functions?
No, not functions. It was graphs and different
Oh,
graphs and charts.
tables,
stuff
charts,
like
and
that.
graphs.
Yes, that's it. Yep.
Yeah, this new one right here.
There you go. Yep. There it is.
Tables, charts, and graphs. Again,
Okay.
identifying your title, identifying your X
That's
and Y
it. Charts
axis.
and graphs.
Did you see
Right.
that website I gave you?
And I went on it.
That's one I'm telling you. So most people who need tables, charts, and graphs, I tell them to go there because you can also use that for math and science.
But you know what I was having? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
What problem is it?
It was like I didn't even finish it. I think it was a circle graph with the percents. It was just start from number one. Period.
I can't do
said,
all of them, of course, but
no, you don't have to. You don't
tell me
have
which one you're talking about.
Just do number one.
Well, they randomly select them. So was it that
It
one?
doesn't matter. Yes, that one. I'll take that one.
Okay. All right. So let's
Yeah, I just need the basic concept of it, and after that, I'm good.
I love it. I love it. The first thing you have to understand is, what did I tell you to do? Read the question first.
Yes.
Always read what they want to know first. What percent of the students prefer dogs? So the first thing you should be thinking is percent equal part over whole.
Yes.
They're asking you for percent. That's where you start. Percent equal part over whole. Okay, so what are they asking? What percent of the students prefer dog? So my part is going to be what?
Dog. What were you looking for? Dog? Okay, dogs. It says 95.
95. What's my whole? What is the whole?
The whole is all of them.
All of them added together. So if you add all of them together, what do you get?
I didn't count it up. Let me.
Well, let's look at it real quick. So 9 and 7 is 16, right?
Yeah.
5 and 5 is 17. Plus 3 is 20, 200.
Okay.
Remember that minimum math is a wonderful thing.
Yes, it is.
200. So listen, I'm not going to make any mistakes. Why? Because I keep hearing Mr. Tinsley tell
I got
me
my calculator.
Use this calculator. To use it to my advantage. So if I got to change to a percent, right? Boom. So I'm going to hit ND. Wow.
Yes.
I need to make it bigger than that. Hold on. Let me make this small. So I can move it over here. Because Mr. Tinsley showed me how to go to a fraction in D. He told me how to put the fraction in. 95, hit the down arrow, 200, hit the right arrow. But guess what? Mr. Tinsley also showed me, because I went through his ebook, how I can change this directly to a percent. I'm going to hit second and hit the right parentheses. Bam. 15 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Okay. All right, I got it now.
That gave me a hold up, wait.
Oh my goodness.
Listen.
I knew it was something simple. I was like, I'm missing something. Okay.
Listen, what I'm telling you is what I would do if I can't say it enough. I would go through the ebook. I
Oh.
would spend 2 weeks going through the ebook first. Even if you listen, so 2 weeks is 14 days, right?
And
Or
I went through it,
17
yeah.
lessons. That's basically a lesson and a half a day. So one day you do 2 lessons, the rest of the days you do 1. So you can spend an hour, hour and a half. I give you enough practice and enough things where you have to press it. Why? Because now I just showed you with a problem that took difficulty. All I did first was read the question. I didn't even have to read all the other stuff. I didn't have to read
Nope.
a poll hashtag. I didn't even need it.
I already know how to do it now.
I
Thank you.
didn't even need to read it. Why? I'm trying to give you the strategies to pass this test. Read the question first so you know what you're looking for. A lot of times they give you all this couple, 2, 3 paragraphs of information. Half of it, you don't even need it. Read the question first. Read the question first. What's next? What's next on the list? So we went through slope,
I'm all
we did
right
tables,
now.
charts, and graph. What's next? Tell me what's next. Anything. So first 5. You should be
I was
looking,
doing
you
that
should be
today.
looking on your either practice test or your real test. That's going to tell you what you need to focus on, right? First 5, almost every practice test I've seen, almost every real test that I've seen, most people get 3 out of the 5 incorrect on the first 5. People giving up points right from the beginning. So make sure you go in here. I don't care if you got to do it 10 times. I'm giving you almost every type of way that they might give you one of those first 5. You got to be ready for it. So one of the ones that I've seen the most, let me go to a blank page. When they talking about undefined, I marked about 7 quizzes this morning. 5 people got it. 5 people got the same question wrong. I'm trying to find a blank page. Hold on.
Got that one.
Oh, my whole computer just. Oh my goodness. We got problems here. Okay. My whole computer just stopped. Just want a blank page. That's it. All right. I'm gonna have to hold on for a second.
I'm gonna go back on there then.
Should
have told him to get.
Yeah. So one of the things I want
to get greater later.
So one of the things I wanted to explain to people is this undefined.
Okay.
I don't know why people keep getting it wrong. What happens is I think people are trying to remember how to do the problem instead of having a full understanding. So what is undefined?
0.
It's almost on every GED exam. It's only 2 instances that you're going to see on the GED.
Negative.
The denominator is 0.
Is 0.
Or a negative
and
square root.
It's a negative square root. Yep.
That's it. They hardly, if ever, put the negative square root on it. If ever. I haven't seen it in like 7 years. Okay. So this is the one that you're going to see the most, the denominator of 0. So they're going to give you a crazy word problem that's about a paragraph long. But the key words you're looking for, it's going to say undefined.
Yeah.
So they might have a problem like this. They might have a problem like this. They might have a problem like this. And what happens is when people see this difficulty looking expression, they don't know what to do. It's key. Remember I told you about reading that question first? Well, they're going to tell you to look at what values would make this undefined. So all you're looking at is the denominator.
Yep.
All you're looking at is the denominator. And what values that would make this 0. So for example, this first one, the opposite of -5 is what?
Plus 5.
Plus 5. So how do you know? Because if I put a 5 there, it's going to be x over 0.
Yeah.
Because 5 minus 5 is
0.
Okay. So that means 5 is the only answer for the first one. In the second one, how many answers should you have?
You should, I guess, 2.
2. Why did you say 2?
Because you gotta have, if you got x minus 3, you'll have x plus 3, then x minus 5.
Exactly. But look, how many x's do you have in the denominator? 2. So that tells you how many values of x that you're going to probably, the most that you can have is 2. So how do we know? Opposite minus 3 is plus 3. So if we look at it, we put 3. If we plug 3 as x, we're going to get 3 minus 3 times 3 plus 5.
Right.
Right? 0 times 8. What's 0 times 8?
0.
0.
If we plug in minus 5, we're going to have minus 8 times 0, which is also 0. So that means there's 2 values that would make this undefined, which is plus 3 and minus 5. Understand that? The third expression, again, if they're asking for undefined, you don't care about the top. You're looking at the denominator. If the denominator is 0, it makes it undefined. If the numerator is 0, it's just 0, because we can have 0 over 8. That's 0. And I'm going to prove it to you in a minute. Now, again, 1x, 2x, 3x. So you have 3 x's in the denominator. That means you can have 3 values of x that will make this undefined. So again, in the parentheses now, if you're familiar with finding the solutions for a quadratic equation, you should look at this and be like, oh, plus 2.
Plus 2.
Minus
and
3. And we got one more.
And
0.
It's
Mr.
0.
Tinsley, how you know that's 0? Because 0 times anything is 0.
Yeah.
So you got 3 values of x that would make this undefined. I've seen so many people get that wrong this morning, just this morning. Or was it? Actually, it was this, I guess 3 o'clock in the morning is this morning. But yeah, when I get up, I just start, when I get up, I just start marking papers. I don't know what's wrong. I just be like, do something.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Will you ever see undefined on any of like the slopes or the graphs?
You may. Remember, so for example, let me show you. That's a wonderful question you actually asked. Watch this.
Yeah, it is.
That's a wonderful question. I love questions.
I think I've seen it. I think I've seen it. Yeah, no, they all undefined. There you go.
So right here, you have a horizontal line. What I say is the slope is 0. How do you know that? Well, I'm gonna prove it right now. Watch this. I'm just gonna make some points up. I'm gonna call this right here. So this is minus 2. 3. Right? This point here is, let's call this 4, 3. Right? So the thing you have to recognize is that you look at the y's, right? And they're the same, right? So if you, again, what's the formula? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you're going to have 3 minus 3 over 4 minus a minus 2. So you're going to have 0 over 6, which is 0.
Yep.
So because your y's are the same, your numerator is 0. Well, the same thing applies for a vertical line. Now, your x's are going to be the same. So if I take this point, and I'm making these up. So this is 3, 4, or 4, 3. Because x is first. So we want 4, and let's call this minus 2. It don't matter. But again, if you plug it in, you're going to have 3 minus a minus 2 over 4 minus 4. 5 over 0. What did I say which makes something undefined? The denominator can't be 0. So this is a linear equation where the slope of this line is undefined. So it's always those 2 things you looking for. Denominator is 0, or if the square root is negative. Makes sense. So if you see that word undefined, I don't care if they give it to you in a linear equation, but usually they give it to you in the first 5. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
And this is why I love these sessions, because all week, there's some things that may confuse you. Well, guess what? I'm going to make them clear for you, but you got to come with your questions. I love it. Who's next? I love it. I get excited about this. Why? And I didn't put the people who passed. I still didn't put it up. Got another couple of people that's passed. But I get excited, to be honest. Why? Because I know what I'm doing here is going to help change people's lives. The young man I talked to today, he got his GED on Friday, passed his final test. He's like, Mr. Tinsley, I never
All
thought it was
right.
possible, but I think I want to go to college. I said, you know what, buddy? I said, give me a call in about an hour, right? And he said, why you gonna give me a call in an hour? I said, because I'm gonna have you a contact to get you into college.
All right.
Yes.
His mom called me today crying.
Oh.
She said, well, how did you make that happen already? I said, that's what I do. Don't worry about it. She said, what can I give you? How can I make it up? I said, how can you make it up? I said, when you get in the college, tear it up. That's how you
Amen.
will me. You tear it up.
Yep.
Amen.
All right, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's some other questions people may have that you had during the week?
Hi, teacher.
I'm
I
sorry, say it
just
again.
today I just joined.
Somebody.
I just joined that group and I saw that like you posted like today Monday is like 6 p.m. have a classes. So I just want to ask you like every week only Monday 6 p.m. is like you are helping with math class.
Every Monday at 6 p.m. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Every Monday
So,
at 6. The students that you see tonight, I also have a free math course that you can go through during the week, and you can take practice tests and practice quizzes. So this is what I have here. This is what I just took off the screen. So no matter what you're looking for, right here. So if I go back to this section here, I made a free course for anybody. It doesn't cost you
I don't
anything.
have this link, teacher. Can I get this
So
link?
what you have
Then
to do
I
is you
can
have to send me an email.
Okay.
So matter of fact, put your email in the chat.
Okay, I'm gonna
And
email
I'll
you.
send you an email. So no matter so now it's two important things here. You got practice problems. So if you just if you went through all the concepts and you just want to practice to make sure, this is where you go here. But if you don't know how to do something, if a concept is confusing you, I have math lessons here. So no matter what you need help with, it doesn't matter what you need help with. I can go to volume. Because some people have problems with volume. If you want to go to volume, you click on volume. You take a pretest. This is to see what you know and you don't know. If you score 70, 80, go to the next lesson. But here, what you can do if you don't understand something, you can go to a textbook lesson that's going to explain it to you. So say, for example, you don't know how to find the volume of a cylinder. You could go here. You don't have to wait for every Monday. You go here, and it'll take you to an online textbook that would detail how you solve a volume of a cylinder.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
Okay, I don't know what's the problem here. It's taking forever. Maybe because I got 56 windows open. And I mean, literally, I probably got about 50. But there you go, right there. And it explains it so you can read it. But it also has diagrams, but it also has videos. It also has practice. My computer is slow, it's waiting. So
I can do practice on there.
Oh, I never see that.
Look at that. All this is in Schoology. You don't for example, one of the mistakes that I believe people make, is they just taking practice tests.
So that means in this app, I can.
Here we go. So now you can see it all. See, now you can see. So you got manipulative, so you can change it, drag it. But also in this lower, look at they're going through an example. They're giving you examples. Look at that. They're telling you what to do step by step. Here's a video, step by step.
Oh.
Then in the lower right-hand corner, you can take a quiz. Once you finish all that and you think you got it, you can take a quiz on here. This is outside of Schoology, but I put it inside of Schoology. So what I need you to do is that practice test, no matter if you take it on my site or take it somewhere else. Once you find a concept area that you're not fully understanding, you need to practice on that first. The mistake that people are making, they're taking all these practice tests, and they're remembering the answers. So when they take it the second, I know how to do that. That answer was B. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be going through these practice problems and execute like you're really taking an exam. So if you see a problem about volume, the first thing, you should hear my name. You should hear my voice in your head. For example, okay, boom, whatever this is. It has two food storage containers. But isn't sure which one will hold the most. How can Raymond use these dimensions to figure out which will hold the most? Okay, so what you should know is volume is capacity, how much something holds. The second thing you should realize that these are both cylinders. The second thing you should identify is go to your formula sheet and volume equal pi r squared h. Get the formula. The next thing you should be doing, identify what you know. So right here, from going all the way across, that's the diameter. You should know if they give me the diameter, I need to take half of that to find the radius, because diameter is nowhere in my formula. It's calling for the radius. I now see that the height is 6. So now I just plug in. Now I grab my calculator, because now this problem becomes a easy problem. If you can identify that that's a cylinder, identify the formula. Watch this. Let me clear everything out. And I want to show you how to use this calculator so you won't make mistakes. Pi, which is, anybody know what pi is?
3.14.
3.14. R squared. So my R is 6 squared times my height, which is 6. I now found the volume of that cylinder just like that.
Just
Now,
like
I
that.
want to compare. I'm going to look at this second one. What am I given? This is my height. This is my diameter.
8.
So my diameter is 8. My radius is 4. So I'm going to do the same exact thing. 3.14.
4.
R squared, my R is 4, times the height, which is 16. And then I look at the difference. Oops, that's too big. I must make a mistake. Oh, instead of putting the right parentheses, I put a 9. You see that? So I was supposed to put the right parentheses. There we go. Boom. So now you can look at both those answers. Let me save this real quick. And let me put it on the screen, because I need you to understand that they're trying to compare the two volumes. So the first volume was 678.24. The second volume of the second cylinder, or the first cylinder, was 803. So the first one would hold more.
Yeah.
Again, but how long did it take us using the calculator? Not long at all. Because
no, not long.
And this is how you should be attacking each problem. Identify what's given. Identify the formula. Plug them in. Okay? So again, and this is for every single concept on the GED. It does not matter. If you need help, I have a math lesson to teach you how to do it. It doesn't matter. These are everything. Ratio and proportions. So, earlier you asked the question, where else will you see undefined? Well, undefined can be also used as slope. So you go to your textbook lessons under ratio and proportion, click ratio and proportion, and you will see all the possible questions or possible ways that you might see a ratio and proportion on the exam. Ratios in simplest form, equivalent rates, unit rate, proportion, solving by cross products, unit scale. That's everything you're going to see if they ask you for ratio and proportion in the exam.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question. Oh, okay, I have your email. Thank you. So again, but now, so for example, I had a lot of people having also problems with Pythagorean theorem. So let me go to a problem with Pythagorean theorem. So guess
so you
what?
go to
I
math
went through my lesson, right? I go through my lesson. I go to my math lessons, right? And I'm having a problem with Pythagorean theorem. I see that on my practice test. They asked me 2 or 3 problems on Pythagorean theorem. I got them all wrong. So that means I need help. Right?
Right.
So, angles and triangles. You use a Pythagorean theorem when you're trying to find a missing side of a right triangle. So you notice I got an angles pretest, a triangles pretest, a Pythagorean theorem pretest. But guess what? I'm confused by Pythagorean theorem. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go under that lesson and look under classifying triangles and special right triangles. Okay, I now understand. I think I understand Pythagorean theorem. I took the pretest. I scored pretty well. But what I want to do now is I want to practice. Let's make sure I got it. Let me see the different types of problems that I may see on the GED. There go Pythagorean theorem. Boom.
I can practice here.
Listen, we got one place to practice anything you want. So let's go to
Mhm.
preview. Let me start a 10. I'm just going to do one problem with Pythagorean Theorem. Okay. To get from point A to B, you must avoid walking through a pond. What?
Oh, okay.
Look at all this confusion. It just sounds like a hard problem. What do you mean I'm walking through a pond? I don't walk through ponds. That's where they try to confuse you. But
Yes.
understand, look what they said. To avoid the pond, you must walk 34 meters south. Bam.
South
You
is
should know
down.
south is down.
Yes.
34.
Yep.
And then I need to mark 41 meters east. East is to the right. So when you think
Yep.
of a map, the east coast is on the right, the west coast is on your left.
Mhm.
If you go up
Right.
north to Maine is up top. If you go down south to Florida is down. Remember the US map. You now know east and west. So now I got a 41. Now you should see right there, I got my L.
Yep. That's
So
it. That's the
that's
right
my
angle.
right angle.
Yep.
That's my right triangle. So you should now, if you went through the ebook, I show you. Now, if you're trying to solve this by hand, this is what you would have to do. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. 34 squared plus 41 squared equals C squared. Who the heck knows what 34 squared is? I don't know. You got to use your calculator. Somebody tell me
68,
what 6 what?
68.
No,
Mm-mm.
not 34 times
Not
2,
this.
34
I'm sorry,
squared.
not times 2. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What's 34 squared?
My bad. That's 1156.
1156. What is 41 squared?
That's 1681.
What is 1156 plus 1681?
Okay.
2837.
In order to, the opposite of squaring something is taking the square root. What's the square root of 2837?
So I can use the calculator here. Root
Yes, yes, you can use the
30.
calculator.
Yeah, you
Yes,
can.
What's the square root of 2837?
53.26.
53?
Yep.
Oh, I think I'm on-
Okay. So you got your answer, right? Now,
Yeah.
listen to what I'm trying to tell you, and I can't say it enough. It still took us 2 minutes, 3 minutes to do this problem. I'm looking at my timer, and we went over 3 minutes to do this problem. What I'm telling you to do is this. Watch this. Now, I'm going to show you how you do this in 15 seconds, right? Watch this. I'm going to clear it. Bam. I'm going to grab my calculator. Bam. Because you should be working on this calculator every single day, and you should know how to use this calculator like the back of your hand, because I went through Mr. Tinsley's ebook for 2 weeks. Watch this. Let me show you something. So I'm reading this question, and I realized, okay, 34, 41. I know I have A and B, I need C. So if I looked at Mr. Tinsley's ebook, I know all I got to do is do the square root of 34 squared plus 41 squared. Boom, boom, done. Not even 15 seconds. This is what I'm trying to tell you. And I know the book is 140 pages. What I'm telling you to do, if you want to pass this test, the next time you go in that GED test, what I need you to do is go through that ebook for about 2 weeks. Do about a lesson a day. Now, do you have to do it in 2 weeks? No, you can take whatever time you need to understand it. But if you go through it, look how fast I did that Pythagorean Theorem problem. Look how fast I did it. So again, watch this. Let me show you something. So Mr. Tinsley, but what if they don't always give it to you like that? You're right. So I'm gonna make up one now. What if they gave me a question here, and this was 39, and this is 15. So again, Mr. Tinsley already showed me that if they give me, because I understand the conceptual understanding, I know that my legs are A and B. I know that my side opposite the 90-degree angle is my hypotenuse, or side C. So I know when I'm given C, because I went through Mr. Tinsley's ebook, I need to subtract. Now, watch this. Watch this. I'm going to show you. 15 seconds. The problem is going to be done in 15 seconds. Watch this. Clear, clear. Watch this. Let me minimize it so we can still see the problem to the side. Square root of 39 squared minus 15 squared. Bam, bam, I'm done. missing side is
One
36.
in my calculator, when I put a square, it's not coming exactly. I did.
Do you have this calculator, TI-30XS?
No,
Okay.
I
This
have
one.
scientific one.
So let me explain something to you. Now, depending upon what country you're in or what state you're in, in the United States, right? The calculator you can use on the GED, the only calculator you can use is the
This one?
TI-30XS. In
Okay, I need to
Canada,
buy
you
this
can use
one.
a Casio.
Oh, and
Some
I'm
other
in
countries,
US.
they may have different calculators, but in the
She
United
said she ain't
States,
in the
if you're
US.
in the United States, this is the calculator that you're going to use, the TI-30XS. So wherever you are,
I have FX 300 MS.
right. So if you went to the testing center and tried to come up with that calculator, they're not going to allow you to use it.
Oh,
This is
so
the
I have to
calculator
buy
you're going to
this.
use. So in my
Okay.
ebook, I demonstrate how to do all these problems using this calculator.
I will buy this one. Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. So again,
Mr. Tinley, I tried to get the square root of this, but I didn't get it.
okay. So again, this is why you take time practicing using the calculator. I just told my son the other day, if you expect to make every shot in the game, you have to be prepared. The only way you're going to be prepared is to practice. So how do you get square root, second, and x squared?
I did.
So 39 squared minus 15 squared. Get out of your square root by hitting that right arrow. Press
Yeah, I
enter.
did.
You're gonna get 36.
Nice. Now on that difficult problem, and then what did I also say? You're going to get a Pythagorean theorem problem. You're going to see, right? You're going to see it. They always give Pythagorean theorem.
That's right.
I can't say every single time, but most of the time. So you got to be ready for it.
I get 36.
You got it.
Now look at this. Watch this. Another
36, Mr. Tinley?
Yeah, 36.
Okay.
Now, look at this problem. A suitcase measures 24 inches long and 18 inches high. High is height, 18.
That's right.
Got my little case, right?
You got the width.
Right, 24. This is the key that tells you this is Pythagorean theorem, the diagonal.
Diagonal.
That's what tells you. Now, to me, I already know the question. I already know the answer. I don't even have to look at it. Why? Because Mr. Tinsley showed me one of the most common right triangles is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So he told me to test to see if it's a 3, 4, 5 or 5, 12, 13 first, because those are the most common triangles on standardized exams. Okay, well, how do I know what a 3, 4, 5 is, Mr. Tinsley? I don't know what that is, because I gave the legs are 18 and 24.
And 24.
A 3 is a factor of 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do I have to multiply 3 by to get 18? 6, right? So I get 18. So my next thing, I want to see if 4 times 6, what's that?
6.
That's 24. Well, that's my 2
And
legs.
then-
So 6 times 5 is 30. I'm done.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't even need to use the calculator. So these are a lot of the tips I give you in the ebook. And I understand when people want to understand. Listen, the ebook is giving you conceptual understanding. It's giving you practice using the calculator. Because when you get to the test, I'm going to show you how to finish the test in 40 minutes. I'm going to show you how to do the test in 40 minutes. Save yourself 40 minutes. All right, so what's next? So we talked about Pythagorean theorem. We talked about slope. We talked about undefined. And we talked about, I forget what else we talked about first. But what's the next one?
Quadratic equations.
Quadratic equations. Okay.
Cube roots.
Oh, cube roots. Okay. All right. I'm gonna just make an example for that. You should know all your cube roots. Your cube roots. What I would say is know them.
Times the number by 3.
1 to the 3rd power is 1. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Right. 2 to the 3rd. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 3 to the 3rd. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27.
Yes.
4 to the 3rd is 4 times 4 times 4, which is
64.
64.
Yeah.
5 to the 3rd is 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. Everything else you should know multiples of 10. So 10 to the 3rd is 1,000.
Is 1,000. Yeah.
20 to the 3rd would be 8,000. But these are the ones you should know. These
Yeah.
are ones you should know.
Yeah, I know.
Like you should know your
Listen,
square.
I
So
know
if you,
all of these.
so hold on. So if you know these, and you understand that square and square root are inverse operations, you should know that the cube root of 1 is always the base. So the cube root of 1 is 1. The cube root of 8 is
2.
the
2.
cube root of 27 is
3.
It's 3.
the cube root of 64 is
4.
4.
the
Oh,
cube root of 125 is
5.
5.
so if you have so not only do you remember this and know, but you should also have a conceptual understanding that cube and cube root are inverse operations. Square and square root are inverse operations. Now, the second thing you do is once you know that, right? The second thing you do is, hold on, Mr. Tinsley loves the calculator. So you should make sure you know how to put them in the calculator. So 5 to the third is 125.
5 and
The cube root of 125 is
5.
you should know how to put them in. Why? Because if you listen, don't waste time on radical expressions on the GED because it's not, they're not going to give you that on the first 5. So anything they give you with radicals, you can use your calculator. There you go, done. But if you know them first, practice with using the calculator, and then you should be fine. So when you get a Pythagorean theorem problem, you know the squares. You know the square roots. When you get a quadratic equation, you know the square roots. You know the squares. So that was your cube and cube roots. You said quadratic equations, correct?
Yeah.
What particular problem did you have problems with? Practice or under the lessons?
And also other subject like a math, English, writing, and social study. Those are also I can find this link.
So
Teacher?
for me, I focus on math.
Man.
Oh, only
Once
math.
you pass the math, if you do a one-on-one, I
Didn't I
help
have
you
a
with the
problem?
science. So I help you
Okay.
basically with the math and science.
Oh.
The RLA. Now, that's not true. This class is for math. Have I helped students pass the RLA to social studies? Yes. So when you see, like I don't even count those in my numbers. When you see those numbers that I put up, 171, I'm only counting the math exams. But I've helped people pass the science, the RLA, social studies, all of them. All right, so let's look at quadratic equations. So I'm glad you said that because this is another area where people are having issues. You have to know what a quadratic equation is. You have to know the difference between factoring and solving. Okay, this is one of the problems that I've seen.
Mr. Tinsley, I have a problem that I wrote down.
Okay, that's even better. What is the problem?
It's 2x squared plus 6x plus 4.
Plus 4?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a wonderful question. Oh, I love it. I love questions like this because we haven't seen a problem like this. But
That's why.
Right. So watch this. I'm going to show you the trick. I'm going to show you right now. First of all, what you should notice is that all these are even. There's a factor. There's a number that goes into each one. And that's 2.
I can take 2.
So I'm a factor out a 2. So
2
pull out a 2.
x squared plus 3
plus 2.
2.
Right? So I pulled out that 2. So now you have your quadratic equation. You have a smaller quadratic equation. What you should now notice is that now, okay, so let me do my red back. You should know that ax squared plus bx plus c. So now that a is 1, all I'm doing is finding the factor pairs of 2. So that's 1 times 2, right? And minus 1 times minus 2. But what are we trying to do? We're trying to find the factor pair that gives me 3.
3, yeah.
Right? So I got 2 times x plus 1 times x plus 2. Now, that's factor. Understand the difference. This is factor. To find a solution, right? You got to find the zeros. So the opposite of plus 1 is?
Minus 1.
Opposite of plus 2 is?
Minus 2.
Minus 2.
So those are your 2 solutions to the quadratic equation.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, I get the factored in the solution part. I just didn't get how you got the, brought down the 2 and the x2 and all that. I mean, no, that part.
Okay, so
The first
that's called factoring. So when you can pull out a number
Okay.
that goes in all of them. So that's very important. I'm glad you said that. Let me
Okay.
see,
Yeah.
because I think I may have a worksheet here. Let me see if I have one. Okay, so let me show you. Again, let me make it bigger. Here. This is a normal quadratic equation. So here I'm thinking what factor pairs can give me 18 and 7. So that's 9 and 2. So it's going to be a minus 9 and a plus 2. So x minus 9, x plus 2. If you do enough of these, you can do them that quick. Because all you're doing is identifying that C. What factors of C that's going to give me B? Minus 2 times 10 is minus 18. Minus 2 plus 2. I mean, minus 9 plus 2 is minus 7. That's how fast you, if you do these enough. Now, but those are straightforward. But you should be able to factor. So a problem like number 6. Okay. The only thing I can pull out here is a K. How I look, because I look at these and I look at the lowest exponent. So I'm pulling out a K. So I got 7K plus 9. That's factor. Okay. Let me see if I can find another. There's many ways you can factor. You can pull out 7, 45, 28, nope, 5, nope, 5 of 18, nope. And how I know those are prime numbers. But look at here. Let's look at this one. Now, particularly, you should know how to factor, right? So you look at the numbers first. What is the greatest common factor that's going to go into 28, 16, and 80? Right? So first of all, 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. Those are the factors of 16. What's the now? So what I usually do is take the smallest number first, right? And then I look at those factors and I say, okay, what's the highest factor in 16 that can go in 28 and 80?
4.
So I heard somebody say 8, but 8 doesn't go into 28, correct?
No, it sure don't. So it's 4.
4. So look what I did. That's an important concept. Define the factors of a number, the factor pairs. What two numbers can I multiply? That's the easiest way to find all the factors of a number. 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 4 times 4. I have now all the factors of 16. So now when I look at them, I realize that 4 goes into 28 and 4 goes into 80. So now I'm going to pull out a 4. I'm going to factor out a 4. So then I'm looking at n to the 4th, n to the 3rd, and n squared. The rule is take the lowest exponent of the variable. So I'm going to pull out n squared. So now you got 7n squared plus 4n minus 20. Now you have a quadratic equation that you can solve. Inside, so you can factor this even more, possibly. I don't know, because you got a is not in 1. But this is more advanced. You're not going to have something like this on the GED, but this is how you factor out, though. So I wanted to show you an example of how you factor. So when I look at my 7-1 minus 140, that's a whole lot. Minus 140 is going to give me 72, 35, and 4. 14 and 10. So 14 and 10 would give me 140, and 14 minus 10 is going to give me 4. So then I'm not even going to go through that. I just was doing some mental math. But this 7n squared plus 4 minus 20 can also be factored again. What I'm telling you to do here is if you see something like this on your GED to factor, don't even stress it. Don't try to factor. Use the multiple choice to find your answer. So let me tell you what I'm talking about with that. Let me go back here. Again, I'm trying to find the easiest way for you to pass this exam. So for example, let's find one. Let's look at this one right here. Let's look at this one right here. And it's already past 7 o'clock. I didn't even know we went right past 7 o'clock. This will be the last one. But I get excited when so when you got questions, you see, I'm totally, when you got questions, oh my goodness. So when we look at this one right here, right, it says factor the following equation. What they want you to do is they want you to, listen, I can do it for you, right? What they want you to do, this is a quadratic equation, right? A is 2, B is 3, C is minus 20. When A
Okay.
is not equal to 1, you
Right.
factor A times C. A times C is minus 40. So 1 and minus 40. Again, I go in order. I start with 1. 2 times minus 20. 3 doesn't go into 40. 4 and minus 10. 5 and minus 8. 6 doesn't go into 40. 7 doesn't go into 40. I already have
So
8.
you're done.
Other side, I'm reversing the numbers.
Negative.
Minus
Yeah.
1 and 40.
Negative
Minus 2
2.
and 20. Minus 4 and 10. Minus 5 and 8. What they want you to do algebraically is to define the pair that's going to give you 3, which is there.
Right.
They then
Yeah.
want you to take this original problem and break it up. So you're going to have 2x squared plus 8x minus 5x minus 20. Because I chose these two numbers are going to replace the ones in the middle. The reason why I chose the 8 first is because I know 2 is a factor of 8. It's not a factor of 5. So I put the 8x
Right.
first. So then you do what's called factor by grouping. So again, this is difficult.
8x minus 5x is negative.
This is difficult. I group them together. So I'm going to take a 2x out, and I got x plus 8. Here, I'm going to take a minus 5 out. Oops. I'm sorry, I got a 4. I got a 4. Take a minus 5 out, I got x plus 4. You notice that they share a factor of x plus 4. So what that means is I now can combine these two. So my answer is 2x minus 5 times x plus 4. Okay, this is how you solve this question algebraically. This is not what I want you to do on the GED. First of all, you're looking at this right now and your head is spinning. Mr. Tizzy, I don't even know what you're doing. I'm confused. And you might have thrown your phone at the wall. No, I don't want you to do that. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible for you. So when you see a problem like this, don't try to factor it like that. Use the multiple choice and multiply binomials to get your answer. So what am I going to do? 2x times x, 2x squared. 2x times 4 is 8x. Minus 5 times x, minus 5x. Minus 5 times 4, minus 20. Combine my terms, 2x squared plus 3x minus 20. I'm now done. Got my answer. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. This is what I try to explain to you in the ebook. This is what I try to explain to you in these Monday classes. If you sit there in adult education class, I'm telling you, I've been there, I've done it, I've taught them. You're on fraction for 3 to 4 weeks. You're on quadratic equations for 4 weeks. You're on linear equations for, matter of fact, most organizations and classes I've been to don't even get to linear equations. Or if they do, they spend so much time. This is what I'm trying to you.
So I can solve this problem like this. I don't need to go through like before you showed.
Exactly.
That one is I don't understand. Okay, thank you, teacher.
Exactly. That's my point I'm trying to say. So understanding how to multiply binomials. Because when they ask you to factor that quadratic equation where that A is more than 1, it might be 2, it might be 5. Okay, if they give you the multiple choice like this, multiply binomials till you find your answer. That's the easiest way.
Both of them. That's easy. Okay. This is this math name is like a multiplication for.
This is called multiplying binomials.
Okay.
Binomial.
Okay. So what does bi mean? Bi means 2. So here you got 2 terms. In this parentheses, you got 2 terms. Okay. So for example, if you have 5 times x minus 3, this is a monomial. Because mono means 1. This is a binomial. But on the GED, when they tell you to factor a quadratic equation, you have to understand the skill of multiplying binomials.
Mr. Timothy, will you ever see a trinomial?
Yeah.
On the GED, I haven't seen it. But in real life, like for example, if you had x squared minus 5x plus 1 times 2x. This is a monomial,
And this is
Yeah.
binomial.
and this is a trinomial.
Trinomial.
They got
Now,
that.
in my book, I call anything more than one a polynomial.
Okay.
But understanding the prefixes, bi means 2, tri means 3. Why?
Three.
Because then we would do 2x times x squared, which is 2x to the third. 2x times minus 5x is minus 10x squared. 2x times 1 is 2x. That's how you would do that. Not hard.
Okay.
So if you understand how to use the distributive property, if you
Yep.
understand how to multiply binomials, it doesn't matter what polynomial they give you. They could give you an ocnomial.
Mm.
But you know to multiply this 2x by everything in that
Everything.
parenthesis.
Yes.
Okay.
See, that's the
Thank-
concept I need you to understand.
Thank
Yes.
you, teacher.
Okay.
So here we go again. It was a wonderful class tonight.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Professor
And
Tinsley.
thank you, teacher. And please send me, then I can look for tonight.
So I have you. So what I usually do is after the email, I send you
gonna
a
show
video.
it
I put this on YouTube.
Mhm.
I send you the link. I send you screenshots. So if you need to watch it again, you can.
Mhm.
So you can
Mhm.
go at your own pace. So sometimes it's a lot for one night, for 1 hour. Sometimes you just need to go over one problem for a couple of days until you understand it. Then
Yep.
you can go in Schoology, go practice, then go back to the video, watch the next one, go through it,
Mhm.
understand it, then go practice. Got it?
Yep.
Yes, teacher.
Yeah.
Thank
Everybody
you.
have a wonderful night.
You too.
You too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Take
You're
care,
Mr.
welcome.
teacher.
Tinsley.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you, Mr. Tinsley.
You're welcome.